What's up guys, and welcome back to the channel. Today, we're going to be talking about the possibility of Kreate Fighter making an appearance in MK1. There's actually quite a bit of evidence that supports the theory that it may return, and that's what we're going to discuss in today's video. But first, let's rewind a bit. Kreate Fighter originally made its debut in Mortal Kombat Armageddon. Mortal Kombat Armageddon had a lot going on for just one game. It had a pretty cool conquest mode, towers, a huge roster, and even motor combat, which was a really weird take on Mario Kart. It was fucking amazing though. But Kreate Fighter was by far the coolest aspect of MK Armageddon. The idea of being able to make your own character to face off against the iconic fighters of the Mortal Kombat universe was mind-blowing at the time, and for many, it still is. Kreate Fighter has been rumored and requested for a long time, even to this day. It's been almost 20 years since Armageddon first released, and the impact it had on the fanbase is still evident. So much so that NRS has somewhat implemented it into MK1, though not in the way most players would have liked. The story of MK1 concludes with a huge reference to Armageddon, featuring a pyramid battle as well as a Kreate Fighter reference. Throughout the entire last chapter of the game, you fight your way up the pyramid, facing alternate versions of characters, along with mashups that will have you absolutely foaming at the mouth from how cool they are. Johnny Savage, I'm looking at you, man. This is more than a mere drip change though. Each fighter comes with a combo of two characters' abilities, making for some really interesting encounters. This section of the story was definitely the highlight of the entire game, as it brought back memories of the glory days of Mortal Kombat. After completing the game, I was expecting Kreate Fighter to be a secret mode that you get as a reward, but unfortunately that wasn't the case. But this just seems like something that is way too obvious to not include. And after thinking about it, I'm about 99% sure it is coming to the game. For starters, it's no secret that MK1 was a bit rushed. They obviously wanted to include more than they did, with Quan Chi and Ermac being the biggest examples of this. On top of this, there are quite a few shreds of evidence that may suggest Kreate Fighter is coming at some point. The latest season of Invasions, the Season of Storms, has added the chance to randomly be ambushed by mashup characters, which are very similar to the ones from story mode. It's very telling that they are continuing to develop these assets. In my opinion, they're still working on Kreate Fighter and giving us a little taste of what is to come with Invasions. This would allow them to gauge player reaction so they can further tweak the mechanics of this feature. It just doesn't make sense to continue working on something that was technically one and done in the story mode. There is certainly something more here. There was definitely too much work put into this for something that was only in the game for about 15 minutes. On top of this, Ed Boon did an interview shortly after launch, confirming the existence of an expansion pack, as well as a big surprise after that. Here's the footage for reference.
Just like we did with Mortal Kombat 11, we're going to release a second part with more story. You know, and we have a big surprise after that.
What else could that surprise be other than Kreate Fighter? MK1 as a whole leans really heavily on the multiverse, and the expansion will likely do the same. The fact that he so heavily emphasized it, almost more than the expansion, proves that this will be something big. I honestly think Kreate Fighter was originally meant to be included in the game to begin with, but it got pushed to the side in favor of completing the base game, so they could push it out the door a bit quicker. From a marketing standpoint, this could also really draw eyes to MK1, more so than it would have if it had launched with the game. What other fighting game has dropped something big like that after launch? My last point to support this is the blank spot in the roster. At launch, there was a weird blank spot that people assumed was a placeholder for DLC, but eventually they rearranged the roster, and there was still a single blank spot in the middle. This is very odd for an MK game, and it doesn't serve any purpose at all, other than to sit there and be weird. This definitely looks like free real estate that is just waiting to be used for something. And the fact that it's smack dab in the middle of the roster makes it seem like it would be for something important. I don't know about you guys, but that something important seems to almost definitely be Kreate Fighter. I think there is simply too much evidence for this to not be the case. If I'm wrong, then I will happily eat a loser shit sandwich, but I'm fairly certain I won't have to. But yeah guys, that's all for now. What do you guys think? Do you think Kreate Fighter is going to make a return? Be sure to let me know why or why not down in the comments. I haven't made an MK1 commentary video in a while, but I actually had a lot of fun making this. So if you want to see more, be sure to like the video and subscribe if you're new. I'd really appreciate it. I hope you all have a good rest of your day, and I'll see you guys soon. Peace.